in this.
Yeah.
Time to change. It's turning point in our season, right?
Yeah.
We narrowly
Season starts now.
We dominated in the second half at Anfield. By the way, let's not get it twisted. Let's not change the narrative.
Yeah, that's facts.
Right? Aguerd is said to be in the squad.
Oh, we finally get to see this amazing centre back in action. Aguerd, he's been hyping him up all season. Come on, Aguerd.
I'm telling you, he's going to make a difference, right? I'm hoping Cornet is going to be back. Paqueta, we need him back. So we have to see what the injuries are saying. But this is time. It's time now. I'm going to say 1-0 West Ham at Old Trafford. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a nervy game, but we're going to edge it. Scamacca is going to score, and it's going to be scenes.
How's it going, people? I hope you're well. Welcome back to the show. We're missing a couple of people, but trust me, they're going to be with us. They're running a little bit late from work. And to be fair, this is a time where we want to try and get things done before the Champions League game. So I appreciate people jumping on and being a bit late. Dan Lawless there saying that West Ham are going to win 1-0. We'll get into that. Trust me, when Dan comes on, I'm sure he'll have something to say on it. Tobes is with us, but he's had to take a bit of a call. Errol, he's with us as ever. And an introduction, a new person, a new panelist. Pete Davey, Newcastle. My guy, what are you saying?
All good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to share the screen with you boys. Looking forward to getting down to some chat about all things potentially European football.
You got the bank transfer, Potts? Or was it check or cash? Was it little envelope?
Hey, don't start, Lawless. Don't start. Look, come on. Look, we could go back to that exact show that was just on the little clip there about some of the comments you made, and I'm sure we will.
Listen, I'll stand by everything, mate. You come at me. I'm ready.
Well, listen, let's start there, man, because I don't want to jump into Liverpool. I'm going to give Errol a little bit of breathing time. I'm sure he's had enough of the cussing that I'm sure he's been getting over the last few weeks, let alone days. But let's talk a little bit about Newcastle. Lawless ain't having any of it. I said to him weeks and weeks and weeks ago, in fact, before a ball was kicked, that I felt Newcastle and Manchester United will both finish above West Ham. West Ham is still struggling to get into this top half, and some are saying, why is Lawless still allowed on this channel? But rightly so, they're still in Europe, if the European Conference League is anything to go by, and that's why he's always welcome here. And I do love Lawless, man. I've got to say, I do love Lawless. But he stuck to his guns, and he still says that he believes that West Ham will finish above United and Newcastle, and it's looking like it's been a little bit tough of a start for West Ham United. But I'm going to start with Lawless. Why the hatred for Newcastle? And number two, let's just be real. They're playing well at the moment, man. They deserve to be in and around the European conversation, do they not?
They are playing well. My issue is, right, back, I think it was last season when I was first doing shows with you on judges. We did the European, the race for Europe or whatever on Lee Judge's channel, right? I kept hearing West Ham aren't in the top four race, despite us being in the top four. West Ham, no, you can't because you haven't got previous and you can't expect that you can be in the conversation, this, that, and the other. Oh, as soon as Newcastle now are fourth, Newcastle in the top four race. Newcastle should be in the race for Europe. Newcastle this, Newcastle that. Why, I wonder? What could it be? Could it be a certain Saudi ownership? Right? Because they got money that now we take them seriously, but we couldn't take West Ham seriously, who finished sixth the season before. And now we can't say West Ham in the top four race the season when we was in the top four. So it's the way that Newcastle are being treated completely different to West Ham. Newcastle are playing well. I haven't disputed that. They're on a good run, but I think we're going too early. And this is the thing we're going, yes, West Ham aren't doing well at the moment. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, so
let me come in before I bring Pete in, right? Because I'm sure Pete's got a lot to say about this. I never said Tottenham. I never said Newcastle were in a top four race. I said that there's a race for Europe, which is what this show's about. There's going to be seven panelists on here, right?
For top four. I'm sure you just come out of your mouth.
Listen, they might be. Some people might say that. 100%. I think there's a lot of people, by the way, if you look around at what Chelsea and Liverpool are doing, if you look around at what's happening with some of the teams that have been inconsistent, maybe Newcastle are in a top 4 race. I don't think they'll get top 4. I think they've got a great chance of getting into the European places, whether that's through the European Conference League in 7th or whether they do sneak Europa by 6th. I think the way they're playing with 1 game a week, with a team that looks like they've got a very comfortable spine, that have a manager that plays attractive football that definitely hasn't well drilled, why would they not be in the conversation for a top 6 finish this season? Or
if
even
they
a
had
top
different
7 finish?
owners, you wouldn't be saying this. If they had someone like Simon Jordan or whatever, they was playing the same football, the same points on the board, the same group of players, you would not be talking them up how
Why?
you are.
But come January, they're going to reinvest in their squad.
100%.
They're going to add to whatever they feel is needed to get them. They're going to be ambitious every single window from now. Newcastle are going to have ambitions on the same level, if not bigger than the ambitions of the likes of Man City or Arsenal or Chelsea, because they can be opportunist and capitalize on any given moment. So when they're in a rich vein of form, and if they can carry that through into January, you would expect, naturally, given the position and the ownership, that they are going to go and strengthen, and then that does become a problem for the likes of West Ham, Liverpool's, Chelsea's, Spurs, potentially. Depends. We're going to have to book up our ideas if we think we can just swat away this Newcastle team.
You got to spend it right, though, and that is the thing. What we've seen with Aston Villa, who splashed money, yeah. And listen, Pete, I need to respond to something that you said on Twitter, right? You said West Ham have spent 170 million pounds. Okay, Newcastle spent 100 million pounds. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, just over 100 million.
This is where you're wrong, my friend. Let's talk about spend since your owners came in.
I'm on about the summer. I'm on about the summer.
No, because we didn't spend in January.
So
you spent in January, right?
So we had to.
Bruno,
the reason being is because the previous summer we didn't get to spend anything because Mike Ashley refused to sell. We ended up buying Joe Willock, right? Although it was a £25 million deal, the only reason that deal got over the line is because we agreed a $5 million per window agreement. So we paid them $5 million. So Mike Ashley was only willing to part with $5 million that summer. So yeah, you can say that 100 million, but if you went previous summer 2021 and January 2022, for lots of teams, it wouldn't be much different to what Newcastle United have spent.
Yeah, but when I spent
it there because we had the money and we needed to stay in the league. But let me just add to that, Lourdes. We might have spent 100 million.
210 million pounds since the new owners came in. 210 million pounds.
Yeah,
we've spent 170.
Right. Okay. But what I would say is that we had to because we had to stay in the league and we had to buy in order to improve the team because our team was championship. It was going one way. And that wasn't just this season. That was previous seasons that we just scraped by and just stayed in the league. Now, what we've done is we've gone out and spent. But you say about spending well. I'm not being funny. Nobody on this panel or in the league would have spent 30 million on Dan Burn. In fact, we had people laughing at us with the fact that we went out and bought Dan Burn. Dan Burn's one of the best performing centre-backs and left-back in the Premier League since he's joined Newcastle. And to be fair, he was one of the best performing centre-backs at Brighton before they sold him. 13 million. Matt Targett. Villa didn't want him because they went out and splashed 25 million on Luca Dean. We got him on loan. Okay? We ended up paying 12 million for him in the summer. On the back of that, we ended up getting, and yes, we know it was a lot of money, but we needed a striker. We bought out Chris Wood's contract, 25 million. We signed him. Fair enough. Bruno Guimaraes, I think everyone would agree on this panel at what? Just under 40 million pounds is an absolute bargain.
What wages? What are these wages? I need to know the wages, mate.
There was nobody, and I'll tell you this.
Lourdes, what's your point, though?
There was nobody at Newcastle United on
What's the point? They're spending money. So what? What's the point?
But I can answer this question because that's absolutely fine. There was nobody at Newcastle United that is on more than 110, 115 grand a week, including Kieran Trippier, who actually dropped to come to Newcastle in terms of wages. And everyone was talking about, they're only coming for the money. Our wage cap is at Kieran Trippier, which is around £150,000 a week. So I can guarantee that someone like Lucas Paqueta, who you signed for 40 plus million, is on much, much more money than that. So even the wages are not even a conversation. Even
we
the way
need to put that on the table. But my point is, Potts, all I'm saying is for 18 months, or longer, we was quality, right? Winning games. We was in the Europa League, deep in there, right? Doing our thing. And we still didn't get the respect to say we're in the race. But as soon as Newcastle were there for 3 months, all of a sudden, they're in the race. So the attitude to Newcastle, which comes down to their bank account.
Do you know why what you're saying is nonsense? Do you know why? Because did I not invite you onto a show talking about the top 4 that you've just...
You did, but
right,
did you...
Right then.
Yeah.
So why did I invite you on if you were not a part of the race for Europe?
I'm talking about the general panel. I'm talking about the general panel. This is what I've had to deal with. This is the comments that I've faced. Yeah. And I'm just saying, yes, Newcastle, Eddie Howe, I think he's done an amazing job, right? They probably weren't fancying him, right? And Pete probably admit it. You wanted they was all talking
Pete
about
wanted him. Pete wanted him.
Mourinho's, Simeone's, Allegri's. That's what they was talking about.
Anybody that knows me, Dan, anybody that knows me, and there's lots of Newcastle fans in the chat that follow Loaded Mag NUFC, they knew I wanted Eddie Howe a year before we even signed him. Even when we had Steve Bruce in charge, people was always asking, saying, who do they want as the next manager? I said Eddie Howe.
Was getting the money.
You go back to October, any of the shows that I did in October and November 2021, the one guy, Eddie Howe. Everyone was talking about Brendan Rodgers. Everyone was talking about Conte. Everyone was talking about all those other managers. And if you had them as a choice, they're ready to go managers. They're elite managers. Of course, anybody would want them in your club. But I always had Eddie Howe as part of that conversation. And I always said he is the guy that could take Newcastle United forward because he was the guy that could come in and be ready-made to get us out the league. That he was the guy because we needed coaching. I'll go back to the point. Steve Bruce, in an 11, 12-day period up until the Tottenham game, with the first game after the ownership, 7 of those days weren't even training. He sent the boys home. They didn't even bother training. Those boys were not fit. They weren't trained. They weren't coached. We needed a coach, not just a manager, to come in and do the job. And this is why I advocated for Eddie Howe all the way through. So you can throw those arguments about, and I get that, but I've always been a massive advocate for Eddie Howe, and I think he's doing the job better than I think anybody would have expected him to do. But he did the job that nobody thought that anybody could do. And we gave him a 14-game head start, and we managed to stay in the league, and that was because of Eddie Howe, not money.
I rate Eddie Howe and what he's doing with you, man. Yeah, but my only question for obviously any Newcastle fan is he your stopgap manager? Or is he the guy that you're going to allow to build for 2 to 4 seasons? And I that's just where I'm at. And obviously, you've escalated, obviously, to this point now, early doors in the season, which is great. But in terms of looking to build on that, from your perspective, do you feel he's a stopgap?
It's a great question. He was given, 2.5-year contract when he first signed. And I think most people thought he would be a stopgap. I always said, let's see what he does. In the first year and a half of his tenure at the club, if he does well, he'll get a new contract. Lo and behold, in the summer, he did a fantastic job. He got a new contract. I think most people did think he was going to be phase 1 of the project. However, with the job that he's doing, with the players that he's bringing in, and also attracting, Sven Botman being one of them, top centre-back, one of the best performing in the Premier League. What he's now doing is stamping his own authority and his own kind of reputation, whereas actually the ownership now probably see him long term. We don't even know how long the extension of the contract is. People are saying 2027, 2028. We don't know. Nobody knows. But I think the owners see him as a long-term project. And in their interviews over the summer, they were saying they could potentially see him here for the next 10 years. But we know
But he's Eddie Howe is the project manager though, he's not some dinosaur or some like win now type manager.
He's not no fossil.
He's a guy that you can build with, as you saw with Bournemouth in his time there. So I don't see a situation right now where Newcastle are thinking this guy's not the man for the job. I do want to talk back on when he did get the job in the first place. I think I've always thought Eddie Howe's a decent manager. I feel like Eddie Howe has always had a bit too much stick for the work he's done in the Premier League. But the only sort of question I had over Eddie Howe was like how can he navigate Newcastle through a relegation fight? Because I feel like when it comes to playing front-footed football, pressing, getting the best out of like young players and stuff like that, that's his meat and drink. But what I needed to see from him is, are you capable of getting this version of Newcastle to stave off relegation? And I think he proved that he was able to do that pretty comfortably last season as well. Let's be real. So that's fair enough. Now, I think
let's hear what you were saying before we went live.
So that's the good part out of the way. The bit I don't get, and Potts will say, "Oh no, you're hating." I'm not hating. Is why are Newcastle in this conversation for race for Europe when they've not been anywhere near a race for Europe in the last 10 years? I think. When was the last time I think it was under Pardew, 2012, 2013. That's the last time Newcastle have been in any sort of conversation for Europe. So what I'm trying to understand is, why was Potts so quick to thrust Newcastle in here? Who knows when you listen? I'm not even trying to say that the bubble will burst and stuff, but who knows when Newcastle could be in January? If Newcastle are 8th or 9th in January, then it renders the addition of Pete pointless.
Let me come in and why. Let me explain why. Right. So I'm looking at the situation right now. There's 7 teams that can get Europa Conference, Europa League, or Champions League. Why would Newcastle not be in that conversation, Toby?
Why ain't Fulham in that conversation? Why ain't Brighton in that
No,
conversation?
they're in the conversation now. But what I'm asking is, why have you added them in? Why have you added?
I feel I've seen enough that they're going to be serious for a European place. I don't see that Fulham and Brighton have done enough under De Zerbi and under Marco Silva to think, do you know what? They're definitely going to get into this.
They ain't got the money. They ain't got the money. Let's just say it, Potts. Come on, Potts.
And there might be that. And you know what? I don't think it's a bad thing to say that either. That they're going to spend in January, because they are. The money is a massive part of it, but they're also playing really well, I think.
Danny, I think we'd all be lying if we said money's not part of it, because that is a big reason for
all
it.
This is salty. Look at him. He's been bringing up money for how long? 18 minutes now.
The thing about it is that we've got the money. We've got the money to sustain our growth. So you quite rightly said, Leicester City had 2 back-to-back top 5 finishes. Okay, had great seasons, but the money ran dry and they weren't able to reinvest it, or they weren't willing to sell some of their top players in order to reinvest it. That's what happened. They fell apart, and they're drifting now because some of their best players in Tielemans and Maddison's got a year left on his contract come the summer. Tielemans has got 6 months left on his contract. So they now haven't got the capacity to get the money that they probably deserved of those 2 players. West Ham came from nothing. And this is why I don't understand you kind of having to go and pointing the finger at Newcastle. The season before you finished 5th or 6th in the league, you won a relegation battle until
agreed.
You were right down there. And we ended up, even under Steve Bruce, finishing way higher and even more comfortable than you were. And then all of a sudden, you had this great season off the back of it, and you deserved it. Lingard came in January, tore it up. You'd fully deserved to be where you were. And you had great season, and you backed that up last season. I didn't think you would. And I think I said that to you on our away day show. I didn't think you'd back it up, but you did. And you guys fully 100% deserved it. So I don't understand why there's an issue with us as Newcastle fans, because we've now got an ownership that are powerful, that are wealthy, that have spent a little bit of money, and trying to build this club up, which is what we need to. We had a squad that was championship level. There's no reason why we can't do that. And go back to the point. Summer 2022, this summer, you spent 175 million on your pool of players, and we spent just over 100.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can say January all you want.
Year. Let's look at the calendar, because Moyes put aside the option to spend in January and saved his pocket money up. Basically, he saved his pocket money up for the summer so he could have a bigger spend, right? In this year, you've spent more than us. We didn't spend that much.
Why does that matter though? If they spend,
Why does this
why
matter?
does it-
I don't
why
get
does it
why
matter
this
if they spend
matters.
more than us?
No,
The
I'm
calendar
no, but
year
because
just fits
Pete
your
said,
agenda. It fits
Pete-
your agenda, nothing else.
no,
That's
because Pete was like, oh, like on Twitter, you spent more than us. Let's talk facts. Let's talk
In the
about.
In the summer,
in the summer, which is true.
Yeah.
I'm not
The thing
lying.
is, but let's look at the context of why. Oh, I've frozen again, in at the word.
Yeah, but Lawless, if you wanna talk context, and here's where I'm gonna be back on Pete's side. If you want to talk context, yeah, and talk about the money they spent, talk about the money that they didn't spend the years leading up to this. Talk
Oh,
about
sorry, we count in like the last 10 years.
yeah, but
because
talk
we haven't
about the
spent
reason.
bad owners.
Talk about the reason. Sorry, I just got sidetracked. Talk about the reason why they've been allowed to spend as much as they spent in 2022, and it's not even made a dent in terms of financial fair play. Talk about that.
And do you know what as well, right? I
honestly,
think we're forgetting something, right? Just quickly, Pete, right? Something we're forgetting. This ain't 12 games. The back end of last season, Newcastle were very good.
They were.
Under Eddie Howe, I think I've been so impressed. I like Eddie Howe. And I think when Potter got the credit deserved to go to the Chelsea job, Eddie Howe was doing a very, very good job like Potter was doing at Brighton with Bournemouth. I know things didn't quite go to the end of it and he went, etc. Let's not go into that. Since he's come to Newcastle, let's judge him on what he's done. I think Newcastle deserve a hell of a lot more credit than what they're getting from some of the people on this panel. I think they've been really good.
Let me just do a reality check, though.
You know what it is, though, Lawless? Yeah, I think the problem with Newcastle, or not even the problem that other fans are having with Newcastle is accepting that they are here to disrupt the status quo. And by being here to disrupt the status quo, it means that there's going to be a shake-up in what a potential top 4, top 6 European race will look like, not only for this season, but for the seasons to come. And I think that's the real Halloween, because it's scary settings, because Liverpool's form right now isn't saying, yeah, we deserve it and we're like a shoo-in for it. Tottenham's form has been a little bit flaky at times. So again, they're ones where you think, all right, if they don't hit the ground running, and once the January window comes and kind of step up a few levels, their threat could be threatened. West Ham, as you from Lawless's perspective, you guys are like realistically where Liverpool are at right now. You've got a mountain to climb with some of the biggest hitters in the league above you that you've got a better in terms of their form and getting more out of your players. So Newcastle disturbing the status quo and getting probably off to the best start out of all of the underdogs and the outsiders. It just adds as more of a threat that, like, I don't think many people were willing to accept, but we should have all expected it, given, again, it comes down to the money, but given the financial backing that their ownerships are able to plow into the club. It's not a surprise that they're in this position. It might be a surprise that they're here now, but realistically, this was always coming.
Yeah, what Potts didn't clip up, by the way, I want to say this, because what Potts didn't clip up from last week is when I said, and you'll remember this, part of me likes the fact that they're going to upset that status quo in terms of, look, it may not be good for us because it's another team now we've got to overcome, but at the same time, it's going to knock out some of the clubs with the plastic fans, yeah, the Man Uniteds, the Arsenals, the Liverpools. Not saying that you lot are plastic, but you have a lot of plastic fans, where Newcastle don't really have plastic fans like that, right? So it's a team with proper fans that are going to kick out one of you other lots, right, out of there. So you guys will suffer as well. So that's enjoyable. My thing is, and this is where the reality check comes in. Everyone's saying, oh, relegate Lawless and promote Pete. Relegate Lawless and promote Pete. I'm going to spell something out to you. We have more chance of finishing in Europe or of getting European football this season than Newcastle. Fact.
What,
because of the league or because of the Europa Conference League?
Because we've got two options. We've got two avenues.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But look, and look, this is where it comes down to the point, is that we're not just kind of strolling in here thinking that we're going to just demand that we're top 6, that we're top 4. Newcastle United fans are not like that. I might be saying that in the media, but it's not the case, right? And it asked most Newcastle fans, they were saying, if we finish in the top 8, that can be considered a great season for us. If we finish 8th in the league, for example, I even said a top 4 finish, and I'd be buzzing with that, just so we're not bothered about relegation, just so we're not in the conversation. These boys, so far after 13 games, have exceeded anyone's expectation. But you know what? They're doing it with style. They are playing a style of football that no team are able to manage at the moment. Even the likes of Man City, even the likes of Liverpool. Liverpool got a 98th minute winner to be able to take points off us. right? We were very, very good defensively. And even in that game, we had Lascelles and Byrne as our back two. Botman and Shaw didn't even play that game. Neither did Bruno, neither did Anisette Maximin. So it could have been different at that game at Anfield. So what I'm saying is that we're enjoying the ride. We're just enjoying being back. Because let's not forget, before Mike Ashley, Newcastle United were regularly playing in Europe. Maybe not always the Champions League, but we were always playing in the UEFA Cup, and we were always challenging from the early 2000s when Sir Bobby Robson came in. And then if you go further back, if you're old enough, you go with the Kevin Keegan years. So we've always been a team that's been associated with European football. The only time we haven't been is during Mike Ashley's tenure because of the way he treated the club. Now he's gone. Look, within a year and what we've already achieved, we might not get European football. You're absolutely right, Dan.
You tell me.
But if we do, I can guarantee that we've got the investment to stay there. And that's the thing that I think you're struggling with. And that's what I think what Errol said, a lot of other fans from other clubs are struggling with, because they know if we finish in that position, we've got the financial clout to back it up season after season after season.
Just to answer this season, who has a better chance of getting European football, right? A comment seems to be disagreeing with me. You tell me, out of West Ham and Newcastle, who has a better chance of achieving European football this season? Tell me. And I want everyone to tell me that.
Well, for what the reasons you've just said.
Newcastle.
For what the reason you've just said. You've got two opportunities to...
Newcastle.
Really?
They're only playing one game a week. And
No. But we've got two avenues. We've got two avenues.
Oh, I've got two avenues of getting into the Champions League next season. Our chances of getting into the top four for next, or finishing in the top four for next season are lower than everyone here, apart from West Ham's, respectively. Literally.
Yeah, but your second avenue is a bigger hill to climb than our second avenue. For us to win the Conference League,
you've got to beat a load of farmers, but you've still got to actually go out and do it and continue it for the whole season. That's still a big ask on your players' physicality. It's still a big ask on your players. It's easier said than done, bro. You can't just click your fingers and win the Conference League.
But I'm not saying we can click our fingers, but we're the favourites to win it. Are we the favourites? We're the favourites. We're the favourites.
Are you? Let me see the teams in it. Are you the favourites?
I don't know. Villarreal,
can people from Europa League drop down into the conference?
No.
Is it the same?
Yeah, they can. They can.
Like Champions League to Europa. Is it the same?
They can drop down. They can drop down.
We're the favourites. If we're not the favourites, we're one of the favourites. So let's not act like, come on, like if we lose, if we don't win this,
let me ask you this to wrap this up, because I want to move, Lourdes. I want to move because we've gone on nearly half hour, right? I want to move on to Spurs and Liverpool, right? But I'll start with you, Lourdes. Where are Newcastle going to finish in the league this season to you then? Because clearly they're not going to finish first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh. They should be on the show.
Yeah, I'd say eighth. They're definitely they're going to have a good season. Then look, this aside, I do have a soft spot. That was I supported them as a kid for a few years. There's pictures there. Yeah. Back before I really was into football, I just went. They had a cool name, Newcastle. It's like old castles. That's cool, isn't it? So yeah, look, I do have a soft spot for Newcastle.
Love how you pick your team.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I was like 6 years old, innit? And you're listening to when they're reading out the names of teams. Oh, Castles. What's a West Ham? To a kid. But yeah, look, fair play to them. I think that there's going to be a drop off there, and I've seen it for us as West Ham. Like, you perform at this high level, week in, week out. It's not easy to sustain that. It really isn't. And if they do sustain it, we might have to talk about title challenges if they're able to sustain these levels, but they're not. Unfortunately for them, if they go big in January, they've still got FFP, which they're under now. But Eddie Howe said they have to contend with FFP. Eddie Howe said it himself, Big Eddie. So yeah, I'll say eighth.
I wouldn't listen to Eddie Howe if I was you.
He's a liar. He's a liar. He's the
master of playing down situations. It wasn't
Eddie Howe's integrity into question. You heard it here first. Flip that.
All I'm saying is that I know it. I'm glad he does play it down. He played it down a week before he then went and spent 60 million on Alexander Isak. So
listen, man, Newcastle are going to spend again, man, in January. I'm sticking with it. I said they finished seventh, and I still think they will finish seventh, Newcastle. And that'll be ahead of West
And
West
see if
Ham.
you
It
cuss
could be
the
an eighth.
Conference League to Pete like you cuss it to me. Oh, that's great. Oh, Cyborg FC, they're a big team. I bet you and Tobes will be sucking them off like that.
But the difference is Pete isn't trying to compare the Conference League to the Champions League.
Who is
isn't
trying
trying
to do that?
Pete isn't trying to equate the Conference League to some monumental competition. Pete will acknowledge that Newcastle have not been in Europe for ages, so he'll be buzzing to get back to Europe, just like you were. Nobody criticized you for buzzing about being back in Europe, but you talk with an arrogance on other teams.
I just don't let you do.
Yes, you do. You talk with an arrogance, and when you talk about Europe as well, you can't. Like, I remember when we were in the Conference League. You were shitting on us last year for being in the Conference League. Oh, you're in the Conference League. You lost.
No,
to
I'm
X, Y,
shitting
Z,
you for losing in the Conference League.
And then now you're in the same competition, and you want me to respect it. The competition
No.
that you were shitting on last year.
I weren't shitting on it. I was shitting because you lost.
Last point. You keep mentioning this thing about how I remember you made a point around how West Ham have performed. West Ham have performed on a similar level to Spurs in Europe. I'm like, hang on a second. This is a team that got to the Champions League final.
You just throw out craziness.
This
is what he's allowed to do.
No, bro. I'm not speaking crazy. Potts, am I chatting shit? Does this guy not constantly feel the need to equate what West Ham are doing in the fucking Europa League and now the European Conference League to what teams are doing in the Champions League? They're not the same thing.
No. I said that you didn't even qualify out of the group in the Conference League. That's what I said. So you have no grounds to talk to me when we've topped our group.
Despite our poor performances, what were some of the circumstances that ensured that we wouldn't qualify from that group?
But you were third in your group. You were third.
We were third. You're right. We were third in our group, but we also had the opportunity to finish second and qualify.
Second, exactly. That's still, you know what I mean? Like we've topped the group,
brother.
We've won every game.
Listen, if you want to criticize our performance in that competition, go ahead. We were poor. That's not the point.
But I'm saying you can't say Dingo FC or whatever every week when you got beat by these teams.
I'm sick to death of you equating what West Ham are doing in the second and third tier European competition to what teams are doing in the first tier. It's not the same. It's not the same. You cannot compare your performance in the Europa League and the Conference League to teams in the Champions League. It's not the same.
I don't care, Tobes. You don't win trophies. If we win this, you can't chat to me. You can't chat to me if we win this. That's all I'm saying.
Would you chat to you about what? What are you talking about? Chat to you about what?
Because about trophy. Because we won a trophy and you haven't.
Bro, lord the trophy over.
Go back to 70 years when you last won the league and bring that up if you want, yeah? I'm not hearing it. We're talking about the now, mate. Now.
The now. You
we win a trophy and you don't, mate.
Talk a big game about win this. You better win this trophy. You better win this trophy.
Listen, we've already got further than
you better win this trophy. Because the way you talk, you better win this trophy, bro. Because you're talking with absolute certainty that you're going to win this trophy. This is you talk to Spurs again. That's another thing you do. You talk to Spurs about winning trophies. When was the last top flight trophy you've won as a West Ham fan? When was the last trophy you've won? You talk to Spurs about trophies. When was the last time you were even in the final? Even in the final
now
of a top flight trophy. Don't talk to me about no fucking Poxy Championship as well. Don't talk to me about playoffs. Don't talk to me about playoffs. I'm talking about top flight trophies because you talk so much about trophies.
You ain't won no top flight trophies.
When was the last time you've seen your team play in a competitive top flight final? When?
You count in finals now. You put in finals in your trophy cabinets.
No. That's one of my points.
I'm talking about now.
When was the last trophy you won? And then I asked you, when was the last time you've seen your team
won the Intertoto Cup in 1999
in a final,
European
in a top
trophy.
Final?
It doesn't matter about final.
So I'm just saying. Stop talking to me about trophies.
I'm saying now
about trophies. Respectfully, bro. Stop.
I'm not comparing our trophy cabinets.
I'm not going to talk to Errol about trophies.
You can't chat to me if we win the Conference League. You can't chat to me.
Why can't I?
Because now, 2022-23
you got to win it, though, Lawless. You better win it, man. I tell you.
We're going to win it. You're setting yourself up for a
big...
Yeah, he does this, though. But Lawless does this. Errol,
trying to defend you where I can, but you're setting yourself up for a big fall,
He did this last year with the Europa League, bro. He said he was going to win it, and they didn't. So he's doing it again, man.
We had an inside man. Tobes paid off Creswell, didn't he? Saved up his money.
Ah,
he
that
paid
what it
off
was.
Creswell.
Look at the
I
nonsense this guy
understand.
saying.
Let's
Look at the
move.
nonsense this guy saying.
Let's move. Tobes, I know you've not got long, man, and I want to get you in. Tobes, massive tonight, bro. Massive for Tottenham. Massive,
Yeah.
massive. And the big game at the weekend against
You just
Errol's
have to
Liverpool.
win tonight, Tobe. You just have to win.
No, we just
Yeah, I
need
was
a
going to
point.
ask you the same
We
thing.
need a
Like,
point, but I
you
want
just got to
3.
win and that's it. Done, yeah?
No, we literally only need a point to qualify, but I want 3
point.
so we stay top of the group.
Come on, talk to me, man. How confident are you? Conte not great in Europe, but it's got to happen tonight for you lot.
Yeah, definitely. It's got to happen tonight. Like, yeah, the stats leading up to this aren't great. We've only won 2 of our 5 Champions League games this season, and I think I saw some stat that we've not won away from Europe. We've not won away from home in Europe for like the last 2 years or something like that. So that puts it into perspective. Look at some of the shit teams we've played over the last 2 years. So that really puts into perspective how poor we've been away from home in Europe over the last 2 years. But just because of the gravity of the situation, the guy at the helm, who I know doesn't have a great record in Europe, and the caliber of players we have at our disposal and the team we're playing, I don't expect Spurs to lose tonight. I'm expecting Spurs to qualify, minimum get a point, and we need to be going for the win. It's time. It's time to stop mucking about in this competition. We've been fiddling about too much, and yeah, part of me has nerves. I'm definitely nervous because listen, this wouldn't be the first time I've said Spurs have to go here, get a point, and you know what happens. We saw Zagreb like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago when we were 2-0 up, and we simply had to just maintain that lead or add to it, and we got hammered. We got hammered 3-0. So it's not the first time like we've come into a big European game and we've had egg on our face. But yeah, I genuinely, as nervous as I am, I'm not really expecting Spurs to lose tonight. I'm not.
Are you hearing a lot on socials? Alexis Sanchez, Matteo Guendouzi,
He can say whatever he
Tavares.
wants. They can say whatever they want. They can say they can say whatever they want.
Bro, how many ex-Arsenal players do they have?
Yeah, free, man.
They can say whatever they want. I think the difference here is, yeah, we actually I think Conte knows we need to win this. Like, the conservative approach is not going to work today. We actually know we need to win this. Like, playtime is over. So I do think you're going to see a reaction from this team, especially off the back of what was an indifferent October as well. Like, there needs to be a reaction, and I think you'll see a reaction tonight.
Are you doing a watch along, by the way?
No, I'm not doing a watch along.
You spoil sport, man. you ain't got the guts, have you? You ain't got the guts.
It's nothing to do with guts. It's nothing to do with guts. Like, games of this magnitude, yeah, I don't like having to appease other people while I'm watching it.
Appease?
You get what I mean?
I want to see this. I want to.
Get what I mean? Like, why do I like? If I want to watch it, I want to watch it. I don't want to watch it and think, oh fuck, I need to update my viewers and stuff. X, Y, Z. No, I just want to watch the game. I just want to watch the game.
Tobes, what team would you play tonight? Spurs 1-11.
So Romero
He's been mixing it up, man. He's been mixing it up.
Yeah, he has, and he's not been doing a good job at mixing it up. I think tonight he has to play Davies, Longley, and Dyer as the back three. With the wing backs, you already know who my preference is at right wing back, but he's not going to play him because he's not played any sort of first team minutes this season. So unfortunately, it has to be Matt Doherty. He has to start tonight. On the left-hand side, I'd start Perisic. Midfield, I would start Højbjerg and Bentancur. I would say I would chuck in Basuma there and play the three in midfield, but to be honest, we need to win. We need to attack them tonight. So we need 3 attackers on the pitch. And where we've played the free midfield, sometimes Kane and Son, they're too isolated. So if it was down to me, I would play Bryan Hill at right wing. I would not play Lucas Moura, but he's going to play Lucas Moura along with Harry Kane and Son. So go with a 3-4-3 and just go out and win. Just go out and win.
Would it be worth playing Perisic, Kane and Son and then Sessegnon left back? Would that work or no?
No. No. I
know you don't like him, but
no, I think Perisic, yeah, maybe if you played him on the left, but Son is not that good on the right. He's not even playing well in his favored position on the left, so I don't really want him off the right. So play Perisic. I think you need as many attacking players on the pitch as possible tonight. Like we need to score goals. So yeah, I don't want to see Sessegnon touch this pitch tonight unless something has gone horribly wrong with Perisic.
Potts, it's your show, but I think we should all give our score predictions for this game tonight.
For tonight's game?
Is it tonight, Marseille game? What day is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tonight. Yeah.
Tonight.
I think Spurs will win 2-1, man. Lawless.
I'm gonna say Marseille win it 2-1. Payet free kick for the winner. Seals it off.
This is not what you think. This is what you want to happen.
No, it's written in the start for them to lose. I feel it. It's not just me, right? It's like others feel Spurs.
It's not the feeling, it's the history of the Tottenham.
It is the history of the Tottenham. That's right. What do you think?
Lewis, go on, man. Big up for joining.
I would have just said a draw, really. It seems poetic that would be an ex-Arsenal player, so you can just insert any one of the 3 or 4 into it. But I think it'd be a draw, just because like Spurs aren't really that predictable like that.
Errol?
I was going to go 2-2. I think they'll get a draw and go through.
Okay, Pete?
Yeah, I was going to go 1-1. Is it Guendouzi? We came from Arsenal. He's been on fire for them. Marseille, talented boy.
Yeah, good player, man. I always liked him. Go on, Tobes. Go for it.
What? Oh, my prediction. Yeah, I think Spurs will win this 2-1.
Well, we shall see. Just lastly, man, before I come to Errol. What?
All the Arsenal fans are like, yeah, Spurs are getting slapped. West Ham, Spurs. You're like, Spurs are going to win it 2-1. Come on, Pot.
I think they'll win, bro. I think they'll win. I hope they lose, but I think they'll win.
You've got to like, what do they say? Like, where you've got to put that energy in the air. You've got to will it. You've got to,
this rain is mad.
There's enough that Lawless does. I'll tell you that. There's enough energy that comes from Lawless from a West Ham fan. I'll tell you that now.
It's nuts, yeah, bro. It's nuts. But it's going to be a nervous game. I'm even feeling the nerves now. I can't even lie.
I bet you are. Yeah, listen, this is what you want, though, man. This is Champions League football. You all wanted it, so
this isn't the first time we've had a crunch European game and got a positive result. So listen, I remember when we had the group with Barcelona, everyone said, oh, Spurs are out. I followed the team, went to the game in Barcelona, and we went through. And we should have beaten Barcelona at their ground. So let's see what happens. People are talking up Marseille as if this is prime Barcelona or prime AC Milan. Like, don't get it twisted. Marseille can do some damage against Spurs, but we have nothing to fear here. We have nothing to fear.
Their ground, that toxic atmosphere, that intense, heated atmosphere.
Yeah, but we went to. You saw us against Frankfurt, and we should have won that game. And would you say that Marseille's ground is more intense and toxic than Frankfurt?
Yeah, them fans are crazy. They will riot in their own stadium, mate.
If we're talking atmospheres, which one would you say is a bit more daunting, Marseille or Frankfurt?
I think Marseille is mad.
You would say that.
I've been to Marseille. They are proper intimidating. Big time.
Fine. Listen, if they can't hack Marseille, then they don't deserve to be in the Champions League. Simple as. It's that simple. I'm not mincing my words.
I must say, you're right, Tom. This ain't me bantering. Like I thought you'd walk this group, man.
We should have walked this group, and that's what I mean. I feel like because of how pathetic we've been in one too many of these group stage games, even in games where we've won, yeah, like it's making people believe that like this is the most uphill task. It's not. It is not. I see something the other day. Marseille have only won once at home in the league in like 2 months. Of course, they're going to rise it tonight. They're going to raise their game tonight, but they are where we are, and we are where we are for a reason. Let's be real.
Yeah, man. Listen, before I bring it,
if we need to play, my last point is if we play to our capacity and we don't have as many bozos on the pitch that we have been fielding in recent weeks, then I think we will get the result. Why is that so bad to say?
Listen, you gotta be confident with it. You need it, and Conte knows the fans need it. So before I bring Errol in, tonight's more important than Sunday, Tobes, yeah?
No, equally as important.
So you need. Well, I mean, that's just
I need
you
6
need
out
to
of
win
6
both.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need 6 out of 6 points. I'm
You
tired of this.
confident with that? Because Liverpool ain't playing well, bro.
I don't know if confidence is the word I'm looking for. I wouldn't say like I'm confident, but we have enough to beat Liverpool. Like we've seen this season that Liverpool are gettable, they're beatable, despite some of the dangerous players that they have that can still hurt Spurs. We've got enough to beat Liverpool, but the issue is Spurs. Spurs are the architects of their own downfall, and Liverpool have enough at their disposal to come in and make it an embarrassing day for us. They literally did exactly that like 2 years ago. They were on a similar predicament as well. Bad run of form, etc., etc. They come to Spurs and bang, Spurs give them the confidence that they need, and they beat us 3-1. So yeah, I'm not expecting a walkover, but I'm sorry, something's got to give. Off the back of one win in our last like 4 games or something like that, heading into this Marseille game, something's got to give, especially at home. Something has to give. I need 3 points. I'm sick and tired of playing Liverpool and not getting 3 points. Last season we should have got 6 out of 6 points. We didn't get it because one, they scored some jammy goal at Anfield. And in the home game, I know Harry Kane should have been sent off, red card, etc., but we had. I lost count of the amount of chances we had in that game that we fluffed. It's about time we get 3 points over Liverpool at home. So
yeah,
that's all I have to say.
You've not had the best of months. I think, is it 3 games you've lost now in the league this month? It's not been a good month in terms of October. I know we're in November now, but yeah. So you need it, man. Before I bring Errol in, Pete, just quickly, since you're neutral here, right? Who do you think is going to go further in Europe? Arsenal, West Ham, Tottenham, Chelsea, or Liverpool?
You know what? It's always difficult to bet against Chelsea because they are at times the supreme cup team. They just know how to win in cups, and it's always hard to look past them. I don't know. I've got a sneaky feeling that if Tottenham get their win tonight, that they could go on a bit of a run. I just think.
This is because of earlier. This is because of earlier. You cannot, with a straight face, say they're going further in Europe than West Ham. You can't say that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Look, you're asking my opinion.
I'm not saying do you think we'll win it, but do you think we'll get to the final of the conference?
No.
I think being honest,
I don't think he's will.
Being honest, I think
where are we getting? Where are we getting to?
Being honest, I think you've got a great chance of getting to the final. I think you've got a great chance of getting to the final. Whether you get there or not is another thing, because as we've seen with the conference in the Europa Leagues, teams prioritize the Premier League and have drop-offs. And there's a potential to do that no matter what team.
We will be the last team in Europe, right? I will be on this show one day as the only person with a team playing in Europe.
Oh, I can't wait. I honestly hope West Ham go out. I absolutely hate when he makes these statements. Absolutely hate when he makes these statements.
Sometimes you got to put your chest out. It's happening. Like it's just common sense. It's just it's going to happen. You're going to have some tough teams in the Europa League pots to contend with. Yeah,
I didn't say we ain't good.
I know you said they ain't shit because they're dropping down. It just means they're not good enough for the Champions League, but neither were you. So boy. You've got that to contend with. Chelsea, all over the place. Liverpool,
as it stands, the team who won the Conference League last year are third in their group in the Europa League. So if they don't get a positive result on match day 6, then they will enter into a playoff match with the second place team of any specific group.
Wait, Roma are third?
So Roma are third in their group. So there's a potential they could drop down into the group. There's also potential that last year's final could drop down into the group as well. And then not to mention as well, you still have Villarreal in this competition. So I really don't understand this foregone conclusion from Lawless that West Ham are better than these sides because of one campaign where, West Ham did well. If you've watched West Ham this season, there's no way on earth you should have any sort of confidence that you're going to make the final.
We're like the opposite of Spurs. We're not doing so good in the league, but the cup, the Europe, we're doing good. We're doing well.
Yeah, you're doing well, but just because you're doing well does not mean you're going to make it to the final.
We've got players to come back from injury. Paqueta, Aguerd is coming back. Cornet, Yeah.
But what does this have to do with my point? Just because these players are back does not mean you're going to make the final.
All right, we'll see in it. I guarantee you, I will stand here and be the only person with a team still in Europe.
Okay,
What-
we've
what
clipped it.
month?
We've clipped it.
What
There's
month?
no way we're the first to go out, by the way. No try. If you all think we're the first to go out, you are all high. You're
No, I
all
never
high.
said that. I never said that.
No, I know, but I feel like these. I know Errol thinks it deep down. He thinks it.
I just said I get you to get to the quarters or the semis.
All
So he's
right.
not going to be first out because that doesn't. He's getting deep into the.
Spurs will
competition.
probably be
He's a
first
winner.
out. I think Spurs will probably go out tonight. I've said. Well, they'll be in Europa League. But yeah, I think Spurs could go first out. I think Arsenal will get to the semis. Chelsea, I could foresee them going out. I think Liverpool will go quite deep. I think they'll have a shit league campaign, but I think you'll have a good.
Why
European
why would Liverpool go deep and Chelsea not?
I just feel like that it's going to be one of them seasons. We've seen it before. Like they'll flounder in the league, but Klopp, he can go deep. He's shown he can get that team deep.
We're floundering in the league too.
I know, but
Can't we?
but Potter's not got that pedigree that Klopp's got. Potter's
Neither
not
did Di
got-
Matteo. He still took
No.
the Champions League home.
It's true, but he's got a lot deeper to go. He's got a lot further to go, innit? He's got a lot further to go to take your team.
Fair enough,
There's
but
no
we are
reason-
group winners. We are group winners.
Lawless not even
Dodge
thought
most
this
of
through.
the
He's
teams.
just shouted out West Ham are going to be, and then he's just gone through every game and just guessed where he thinks they're going to go. There's no
All right,
belief
we'll
there.
see, won't
That's
we?
just
We'll see.
absolute waffle.
I can't wait. How
Okay.
far are you going to go into Europe, Pete?
I've told you, I think we'll win the Europa League. Arsenal.
Oh, all right. Look, there's a note there. There's a note there, Dan. Don't worry, I'll come for you. Don't worry about that.
Listen, I think we'll win the Europa League. Lawless thinks he's going to win the Conference League. We all think we're going to do well, yeah? But you have to be realistic sometimes. I think the way we're playing, I think we're one of the better teams in the Europa League. West Ham, I don't know. I just don't see them winning it.
Dan, can we just all put our hands up? Those that have ever played Champions League football. Can we just?
Wait a
put our
minute.
hands up
I'm
and
not
just-
having that because this gentleman's team robbed me of playing Champions League football.
Can we put our hands up if we won the Champions
with
League?
with your victim.
No,
chance.
I'm not even saying it. All I'm saying
You were
is
supporting Newcastle them times
Fair
anyway.
play,
So it
Lewis.
makes no difference.
I wasn't even born then. I wasn't even born.
Oh, that's class.
Don't even come round here, chatting that shit.
No, but because
Oh, my God.
their fans got English teams banned in Europe when we finished third, and we were supposed to play European football, and we got banned for like years. So that's
But
not
you
even
wasn't
fair.
even supporting them. It wasn't your team back then.
I weren't even born then, but still, I'm just saying, like that's not a fair question. So I'm putting my hands up because by rights we've played European football by rights.
This
Yes.
guy is
Unbelievable, this
absolutely
Deluded, man.
We've
Deluded.
played
Absolutely
in the
deluded.
European Championship, right? By rights.
Absolutely deluded.
Sorry, did we not finish third that season? 86.
Absolutely deluded.
Did we not?
Yeah,
finish
and
third?
we finished fourth in 2012 and didn't get Champions League football. Tough toenails. What's your point? What is your
I'm
point?
just saying, it's not a fair
What's your
question. I'm
point?
not having that.
What's your point? We literally finished in the Champions League spot. and didn't
Anyway,
get
Pete,
Champions League
you can
football.
go back
What's your
flipping
point?
20 years ago if you want. But this is the here and now. This is the race for Europe. We're in Europe.
But you mentioned finishing third like a gazillion years ago.
No, because he said hands up. Who's ever played Champions League football?
Yeah,
and we
he,
got
he
banned.
asked the question. He asked the question. So why did you put your hand up? Why are you talking?
Because we should have played European football. We should have played in the
Well, you
Champions
didn't.
League. But
Well,
we
you
got
didn't.
banned. It
It's
weren't
not
even
about
our
what you
fault.
should have done. He
Liverpool-
All
asked
right,
which
let's
teams
rephrase the
have played
question.
Champions League football.
Let's rephrase the question for
Jesus
Lawless.
Christ.
In our lifetime, gents, hands up if your team's played Champions League football.
We've played Champions League football in one of your lifetimes. We finished third in one of your lifetimes. So I'm happy now. I'm sure one of you lot was a
Oh,
Might
wow,
not
it's
have been
proper clutching
mine.
at straws
Might
now,
not have
man.
been mine.
What,
Oh, word.
what are these
Listen,
goalposts?
we're moving because
All right.
Tobes, I know you got to go, bro. Enjoy the football tonight, my guy.
Big up, my guy.
I hope
Yeah,
it goes
Tobes.
wrong for you, but I don't.
I'll
think
let
it will.
Marseille.
Take it easy, man.
See you later. See you later.
Come on,
Get a bit
Payet.
Errol, man, I want to talk about Chelsea and Liverpool, bro. Like at the moment, these two
Yeah.
teams have disappointed this season. I can't lie. In terms of the league, I look at what Liverpool are doing, I look at what Chelsea are doing, and it's just I wouldn't want to put any money on either of these teams at the moment, man. But if I start with Liverpool, like obviously big game at the weekend for you with Tottenham through in Europe. Europe's not been a problem as Lawless has touched on, right? But when I look at your midfield, I'm so shocked at how bad it looks, mate. Fabinho looks done. They're relying on Elliott and Jones now, who are two young lads that I really like. Harvey Elliott, by the way. Big up to him because he's been half decent at times that I've seen. But when I'm looking at Henderson, I'm looking at Milner, you've got Keita, you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain. It's not really filling any Liverpool fans with massive hype. And I think with Arthur Melo coming in, I don't really see that we've seen him. Thiago, I think, is wicked, but he needs...
a season.
There we go. So he's not going to be part of it. I mean, I know it's not just the midfield. I get that there's problems elsewhere, but for me, that's the biggest problem for me. And I'm shocked at where Liverpool go from here, man.
That's why, obviously, these conversations are like therapy, but tonight's game is another chance to just kind of have that therapeutic relaxation, because there's no pressure on tonight's game. Obviously, we'd have to beat Napoli by like 4 goals to guarantee that we finish top of the group. So I think we just accept the fact that we'll finish second and we'll just have to play whoever we come up against in the draw. I think Lawless has touched on it, but I think Europe and the cup competitions are Liverpool's best chance of any real success this season. And I think from a Liverpool fan's perspective, not expecting the season to go, I had high hopes for us this season. So being where we currently are, I think the other competitions are where I can enjoy it. I can enjoy football again because anything can happen and it's almost a one-off game. All right, yeah, the Champions League's over 2 ties, but you can get yourselves up for them game by game and kind of just go in with that kind of attitude. I think in the league this season, as you're rightly saying, the midfield is not unsure from woeful, like absolutely woeful. I think Fabinho's dropped 2, 3, 4 levels from where he was at 12 months ago. Jordan Henderson seems to come into the squad or come into the team and then pick up a bit of a knock or a bit of an injury, and it sets him back for a couple of games. So I think more than anything else, he's of a quality that brings a certain level to the squad in terms of his professionalism, his kind of willingness and his desire. I think all of those factors are there to kind of make sure that the lads are up for any given game. You take that out of the team and then it kind of drops off. You're looking around for other leaders. For as quality as our individuals are, I don't really feel at this moment in time that there's a lot of leaders within Liverpool's starting 11. I know you've got the likes of Mo Salah that captains Egypt, but Egypt isn't a team with a great deal of pressure on their shoulders year in, year out. I think obviously the likes of Trent, I know that he gets it because obviously he's a local lad, but I don't think he's got that level of leadership yet. I think there's still a lot of talking that needs to be done with him in the games. I think that's why we're seeing so much of Milner getting drafted in and playing so many games, because that is one of the qualities that he does have, and that's one of the qualities he brings. It's difficult to watch because, again, Thiago's another world-class player, and I think, yeah, he does have the qualities that we need in a midfield, but the reality of the situation is his body isn't durable enough to go through a whole season. We've seen it break down time and time again and again. Being able to guarantee that we're going to get that consistency out of Thiago and Henderson at the moment is asking a lot. And then you can't rely on the likes of Naby and you can't rely on the likes of the Ox. They're not even in the Champions League squad lists. So we can't rely on them for those competitions. And we've not been able to get either of them on the pitch for the Premier League yet. So there's 2 midfield spots that are getting wasted by players that are potentially, or respectively in their prime years, not being able to deliver consistently week in, week out. So it's just looking long for us, bro. Like there's still been some good things and some good moments in this season. The City game was a good win, but I said it to a group of lads the other day. I would have rather lost against City, because what's the point in getting up to say, yeah, we can beat any team on our day, but then you can't go and beat 2 teams that are fighting for relegation, and that'll probably be fighting for relegation for the most of the season. That should have been 6 points, and I'd have taken the loss against City and give up 3 points, but we're not even able to do that at the moment. My real fear at the moment is the point situation becomes that bleak that we end up fighting for Europa/conference just out of pride and wanting to make good of a season or salvage a season. Whereas if it was me, not at this point, but if we was having this conversation in January and we was in 8th or 9th looking up the table and there's a gap of 10 points for 4th and almost 20 points for the top 2, I'd be saying I don't want to finish in the European spots whatsoever. I want to finish outside of Europe, and I want to just focus next season on reinvesting, getting the players in that we need, and because we've got a team that, if we're just concentrating on the Prem, there's still enough quality of players that could go on a Prem run and get 15 to 17 wins, one after each other. We've still got that. We just haven't seen enough of it in a sample size this season. with everything else that's going on, I don't think we'll do it this season. Now I think we're going to fall short, which is proper shit. That's scary, lad. You know, I wouldn't say that just on the fly, but I think we're going to fall short. I would rather us fall short to the extent of not getting European football so we could focus on the Prem next year than being caught up in Europa League and Conference League and Thursday, Sunday fixtures next season. It sounds mad, but I'd rather
out of Europe completely. So you want to come 8?
No, but that's right. I completely agree.
Honest to God, yeah, I just feel that the distraction that would be whilst trying to rebuild would be too much. Whereas we know there's still a core of 5 to 6 quality players. Harvey Elliott would be a year older. Carvalho would be a year older. Calvin Ramsey would be a little bit older as well and more embedded into the first team squad. Milner goes, Diop goes, Naby goes. You've got to refresh that squad, and not having to battle on 2 fronts and just concentrate solely on the league would be our best chance to springboard straight back into top 4. I'm not saying we'll go on a title challenge or win it, but by springboarding ourselves from 9th to 3rd is more realistic than going.
You need to stack trophies, man. Klopp needs to have a legacy under his belt, right? And I feel like for you, like if you was to drop out of Europe just so you can finish in the Champions League next season, okay, then the following season you'd be in the Champions League. But if you got 6th this season, then that's another opportunity for a trophy that Klopp hasn't won with Liverpool to win. And so when he leaves, he can count up, okay, look, here's the FA Cup here, Champions League, Premier League, Europa League, Carabao. So he can really, his legacy is intact because everyone's just pointing to him and going, oh, look, he's won the league and a Champions League in this many years and here's an FA Cup. Like, I think it's better for you guys to be in a competition like the Euro. Because you haven't won that Europa League, have you?
No, we've not won the Europa League. It might be better for Klopp, but I think for Liverpool, it's better if we're in a position of just having to focus on the league. If we need to get in 2 midfielders, say another forward and another centre back, 4 players, I would rather us trying to then go straight for the league, not to win it, but to just leapfrog back up the positions. Because like we said from the top of the show, Newcastle are going to be in there in the mix. They might have a European place. Contending on 2 fronts while you are not the elite force that you once was takes a lot more out of your resources. Man, you have found that no guarantees of winning the Europa League. Man, you struggled, fell at the final hurdle. Arsenal have fell at the final hurdle a few times. The only team that have been able to do it was Chelsea. So there's no guarantee that we're going to be able to go into the Europa League and guaranteed success. So I would rather hedge my bets on saying, let's just concentrate on a 38-game campaign.
You know what, Errol? I said that with Arsenal, right? And when we did it, right? We did it. We come 8th. We come 8th twice, in fact. And it was like we're out of Europe. We won the FA Cup, so we went back into Europe. But then obviously we didn't a year after that last season. We were in without Europe. And I thought, right, let's just concentrate on the league now. 1 game a week. And we still couldn't do it and we still failed to get Champions League.
I think our team's more complete than your team was last season.
Oh, yeah, 100. Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that.
As long as we sorted out the midfield, essentially, I don't see why after 38 games, we're not one of the best 4 teams in the league, in the country. I don't see how that isn't a thing.
Lewis, you're kind of agreeing, yeah?
Yeah, I'd be in the same position as Errol. If we're nowhere near top 4 by like February, March, I don't want to be in the Europa League. Definitely don't want to be in the Conference League. And I think if we end up just getting rid of European football, having 1 game a week with the squads that we have and we can build, we're looking at more than just top 4 the next season. You could potentially be looking at a title race if you play your cards right and you have a successful window. I wouldn't want Thursday, Sunday. Like, we've been in the Europa, we've won the Europa. It's like watching paint dry until you get to the quarterfinals. I can't be bothered for it. Conference League, I mean, this is the 1 European trophy we don't have, but it'd be like watching paint dry till the semis to get to that point, and you still have the Thursday to Sunday issue. So, like, I know neither side would do it. No football club goes into games to tank them and to just drop lower down the table, but I would rather 9th or 10th than 6th or 7th.
Imagine if Potter in his first season with Chelsea finished 9th or 10th. That's poor. That's a bad look on him, and that's a lot of pressure for him.
Would he keep his job, man?
He might not have that credit in the bank. But
for me, Klopp does.
Jurgen Klopp does.
No, but
is he going to want to stay?
Even without even without the credit in the bank and everything, Potter is being backed by the owners. He will not be sacked, regardless of
But
where
with
we
the
finish.
fans, how do you think the fans are going to look upon him? If he finished 9th or 10th, next season, they want to see quick results, bounce back. Let's do something.
Yeah, and we better. If we're playing one game a week, I'll be the same thing. We should be getting top 3 as a bare minimum. And I won't demand any less. One game a week in like with how messed up football schedules are now in this present day compared to what they were like 10 years ago. You have to get top 3 as a bare minimum. That's why like I've been so relaxed about Arsenal so far this season, because my point still stand. Last season they had a game a week. I expected a lot more from them, and they let down my expectations. Now I want to see a lot more from Arsenal before I believe them to be a serious side that could even be in a title race right now. The same energy would be for Chelsea. If we have no European football, top 3 as a minimum. I won't even accept 4th.
I don't know, man. Like, let me stick with you, Lewis.
It's easy to say it when you're not in that situation, bro. It's easy to say it, but I just know I've been there.
Yeah,
and
I was there. I was with you. I said it on
Conte
90
16, 17. Like, we literally had one game a week. We went from 10th to 1st, and it was because we were playing one game a week.
Lewis. I use that example because I said this on 90 Minutes about 3 seasons ago. I said, I don't want to be in that Europa League. I'm done with it. I don't want to be in that. I'd rather just go all we can to go finish as high as we can in the league, one game a week. And the examples I gave was Conte 16-17 when they won the league one game a week. And when Brendan Rodgers had one game a week at Liverpool, and if it wasn't for a Gerrard slip, would have won the league. They were one game a week at the time as well. That were the examples I've given. I just don't know that the fan base, if you were to finish 8th or 9th, I don't know, Potter and Klopp, that's going to be tough, man. That's going to be tough.
But it was the same for you guys with Arteta as well. Like, that little experimental process that we've got now with Potter, you were in the exact same phase with Arteta.
But they're different.
You had you a point off the relegation zone at one point, and all the heat that he was getting at the... No, different fan bases, but I do think it would be a very similar response too. They would be fuming, they would be panicking if we're in the same position, but it's about riding through that. If we end up finishing 9th or 10th, like, I would rather that than 6th or 7th, because I know we're going to have a much better season the following year as a result of it. And if we don't, bin the manager off immediately, because there's no excuse for that crap.
Fair play to you, man. Errol, listen, I know you got to shoot off, bro, but I appreciate you coming on as always, my guy. Take it easy, man.
I'll catch up with you soon. I'll catch up with you, bro. Take care. Have a good evening, boys.
In a bit, Errol. Listen, Lewis, I just want to quickly wrap up with Chelsea before I head over to Dan United, who's finally joined us from his traffic jam. Chelsea are the team, Lewis, that I do not want to throw any money on, bruv. Like, literally, I have no idea what I'm going to get from this. I said to Matisse yesterday, like, if I had a tenner, I wouldn't go anywhere near Chelsea to understand what they're going to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't expect you to go and blitz Brighton by 4 goals. I didn't expect you to get blitzed by Brighton by 4 goals. And what I was surprised by, mate, was how easy it looked for him and how easy it was to open you up. So I don't know what's going to happen with Chelsea and Arsenal at the weekend. So I wanted to get your opinions on Arsenal coming to Stamford Bridge this weekend, the way that things are going at Chelsea at the moment, bro.
Bro, logically, it's long. I can't be bothered for it. You guys have been dunking on us at the Bridge when you were playing like crap. And now you're top of the league and we're playing like crap. And I meant to come up with some mental gymnastics in my head as to how we can get a result. The only way I'm just thinking is I go into any game shook except Arsenal. Like, I just refuse to go into this sort of fixture with that sort of mindset. We can definitely get a win against you guys. We're 100% capable of it. But if you ask me how, you ask me why, I don't know. I don't know. We're playing like absolute crap. I've been saying even when we were on that unbeaten run that it was fake as hell. Even the clean sheet run was fake as hell. And everything came to a head against Brighton. Because for the first time, we started poorly and the team actually made us pay for it. We should have been 2-0 down before we were even 1-0 down. Thiago Silva saved us with 2 goal line clearances in a minute, and one was from his own mistake. Nobody comes out that game looking well. I think everybody from top to bottom looked like crap, except for maybe Kepa. But even Kepa conceded 3.5, so you can't even praise him too much. I just don't really blame him for anything. He was just there. But everyone played like crap. Everyone's been playing like crap for the last few games. And we got tougher fixtures coming up. Arsenal this week, Newcastle away next week, and our record there isn't even good anyway. And we got a nice little City away cup tie in between that, because all we know is suffering here at Chelsea Football Club. So, Arsenal, I got no idea how we're winning. but we are winning. We're winning.
Gonna have to, man. You're gonna have to pick up bounce back, bro. Listen, just quickly, right? Because I feel personally like there's some things that can change at Chelsea personnel wise. Would there anything that you'd like to see Potter do to try and change this 11 at the moment?
Just no more Sterling Pulisic at wing back, please. I'm not even too annoyed at him about it because, like we said earlier, Potter's in his experimental stage and he hasn't had a pre-season with the squad or anything. He's trying to figure out what his best players are, what his best system is, and what works. We tried this because it worked against Salzburg and it didn't work against Brighton because the golfing class between Salzburg and Brighton are just completely different. If we learn from that, don't play them two again at wing back. Even if we have injury issues, play one if you have to, but the pair of them have no defensive awareness. They get bodied easily. They aren't wing backs. In midfield, Jorginho has to play. Like, the fact that we haven't brought in another DM for another year is our own problem, but Jorginho's the only one we've got. We need to play him except for Roma's. And I don't know why we benched Aubameyang on Saturday, because Havertz up top, yeah, he scored, but he still didn't play well in general. And I think Aubameyang would have given us a bit better movement. He would have had a bit better end product in the final third. Those are the little things I want to see improvements from. But Potter's experimenting. I understand that it's a long season because of this sort of situation that we're in. And it was going to be long under Tuchel. I can back Potter through whatever mistakes he makes, whatever frustrating moments he has this season. But yeah, it's just long. It's just long.
Lewis, give me a prediction for Sunday, bro.
I'm going to go 2-0, a double for no reason except because it's what I would like to see. If I think logically, I don't like my answer.
Do you know what? Clockenbell is an Arsenal fan that does not like Mikel Arteta, and he said that Aubameyang has tweeted that he's going to lay cones out in front of Arteta on Sunday when he scores. Ouch.
No,
Wow.
if he does that, he's my favourite number 9 in history, even if he celebrates.
Man, I hope that don't happen, but I've had a nasty feeling Aubameyang was going to score ever since he signed for you, so let's see what happens. Pete, just quickly, before I come to Man United and West Ham, thoughts on Chelsea and Arsenal on the weekend, man? Where's your head at?
Well, Chelsea need to bounce back, don't they? They need to bounce back, and Arsenal flying out. It's made for a good match. I think it'll be a draw, personally. I think both teams will take a point, but it's a big moment for both teams, because if Arsenal are continuing their rise and they're able to turn up against Chelsea and put them to the sword, that just solidifies their kind of title march at this moment in time. But Chelsea, has been said, as Lewis said, they need the win. It was a disappointing loss at the weekend. I didn't realise you got City. Did you say you got City in the cup?
In the cup, in between that, yeah.
And then they come to St James's Park just before the World Cup. So it's a tough run of fixtures. It really is. So they're going to have to start strong, starting at the weekend.
It's going to be tough, man. And I know that we played well in the last couple of years at Stamford Bridge, but I don't walk into that place thinking this is going to be an easy 3 points. It's never going to be against Chelsea. And they need to bounce back, man. So I can't go in there saying I'm not nervy. I'm just quietly confident the way we're playing and the way that we played on Sunday that we can cause them some trouble. So that's what I'm, of course, hoping. Dan United, let's come to you, my guy. 1-0 against West Ham. You're very, very happy.
We spoke about this earlier. Like, we making extra.
Lawless.
You
Listen, my man. Right, I've got a stinking cold from dancing far too hard at Butlins Minehead. I've taken so long to get through the traffic to come home, but every second of it has been worth it to come and see your beautiful, glorious face, my man.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Smash the like button, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.
Well, they'll see you on the next one, because the next one's the relegation battles show anyway, isn't it? So
we've already explained that one, haven't we?
Oh, dearie me, mate. Honestly, sat there with the most mad hangover in the world, watching us beat you 1-0. It was just glorious. It was absolutely stunning. And I was sat next to 5 West Ham fans, and I was like, this is beautiful. In fact, no, I'll ask the question because I was in the car on the way home. Lawless, what did you make of the game?
It was a complete shithouse. I mean, honestly, it was an absolute joke. Spain's sixth best goalkeeper decides to turn up against West Ham.
Yeah.
What a joke.
Yeah.
What an absolute joke. The guy turns up for West Ham.
Or do you mean consistent? A word that West Ham isn't really sort of mixed with at the moment.
He's not good enough to get.
You're as consistent as my turd, mate, that I've had to do from Butlins. Minging, regrettable, disgusting. What? West Ham are nowhere near. And actually, I want to say this because this is what I've been thinking about all day. You telling me West Ham can finish above Manchester United.
Sorry, I knew you would do this. I knew you would sit there.
Do what?
Act like you dominated West Ham and it was this close game and it was this foregone conclusion.
What was the result?
Yeah, but so what? All right, let's not analyze games. Let's just analyze scores and results, shall we? Let's just sit there and go, it was 1-0 to Man United. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Mate, you should have been down to 10 men in the second half. Skamaka didn't get sent off.
You know what I mean? Let's just play the outro. If that's all it counts.
Disgusting.
All you want to come out and talk about is what was the result. Let's talk about the context of the game.
The context of the game was you should have been down to 10 men in the second half. Absolutely disgraceful. Disgraceful.
How dare you?
Disgraceful.
No, how dare you sit there and talk about that referee, yeah? That referee was up your arse, mate. He was up your arse.
Did he or did he not? Did he or did he not?
You didn't
No. You can come as close as you want.
With Bruno.
No, mate, no. And how bad are you that you can't score past Harry Maguire? Let that sink in. Harry Maguire's first clean sheet of the season is against West Ham.
He didn't do nothing, mate. He didn't do nothing. It was your goalkeeper decided to have a worldie against West Ham. But you did not get a single yellow card until the 87th minute with those tackles. One tackle after another in that run. 2-footers. Disgusting. And Declan Rice goes out on a run. Yeah. Ball does not go out of play. They blow it for out of play. Lyman's a joke. You want to sit there and talk about Skamaka getting sent off. He shouldn't have been on the yellow in the first place.
Do you know what, Lawless? My favourite part of the game was the Rice save at the end, and it just panned to Moyes, and you just see Moyes go, "What a fucking save!"
Yes.
Mate, on a serious note, what happened to the keeper, Fabianski? Is he out? Because it was I don't know. It looked like it was a bit of a.
I haven't heard anything concrete, but I'm happy with.
Lawless is happy because Areola's the signing of the season.
I'm not happy, I'm not happy. Fabianski's injured. Whoa!
Do you know what though? It's taken Lawless it's taken Moyes this to happen to have to play Areola, man. So
but you're going to see some Areola. Like it's one of them typical games. I'm sick of it coming away from these grounds. Fine margins, hard done by. We need to get these results over the line. It's frustrating.
I think you're completely right, mate. I mean, that was the ball wasn't out. It wasn't, and I couldn't understand how it was even given. If we could see it on TV and the camera angle isn't up the line, you can see it from the same sort of.
Do you know what the piss take is, Dan? When you came to our ground a few seasons ago, yeah.
Oh, the ball.
The ball that was played to Pogba that went miles out of play.
Oh, yeah.
And made it to point he scores, and that's given, and it goes so far out. This is the lack of consistency that drives me mad. Yeah, but it's just, but still, it's the main problem is the lineup was wrong anyway. So
yeah, I think. Look, for me, United as a United fan, I wanted to get through these fixtures with as many points as possible. And I think the teams we've played, I mean, all of the teams that we've played are in the Big Six now. Bar City are absolutely dominated as they would. We've done all right. And that's all I could hope for at the start of the season, considering that we are still in that transition. We are still getting the players to where he wants them to be. There was no Anthony at the weekend. I'm happy. I'm really happy. And actually, considering the first two games of the season, we were bottom of the table.
He was too busy doing pirouettes or something, wasn't he, Anthony?
Yeah, I know. I was disappointed. I was looking forward to seeing Soufal snap him.
Do you know what, though, Dan, right? I'll say this, Dan United. This top four stuff, it's not looking too silly now. You said it at the start of the season. Because the way Man United are playing, I've got to say it, I think along with Arsenal, Newcastle and City, they're playing the best football. I know Tottenham are up there because of their manager, but they're not playing the best football. But if you was to say which four teams at the moment are playing the best, it would be Arsenal, Newcastle, Man City and Man United for me.
Yeah, it's the clean sheets that are key. I know, Lawless, honestly, mate, all jokes aside, I mean, De Gea was just inspired, wasn't he?
He was unreal, man.
inspired. He was inspired. But it's the clean sheets that United haven't been picking up the previous seasons. And that is such a big, big factor in us picking up the points. If you don't concede, you don't lose. It's as simple as that. The fact that we're building on that. And actually, I'll tell you something, I don't know if it's been said already tonight, but Luke Shaw at the moment, he looks trim. He looks up for it. On both sides, Dalot and Shaw were brilliant. They weren't world class. They were brilliant. Dalot he was just everywhere where that ball was being pinged into the box.
He's got to be one of the most improved under Ten Hag for me, Dalot.
100%.
Let's talk about Ben Rama, though. Absolutely ruining Casemiro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Oh, come on.
How Casemiro
That's why
didn't
he
get
should play Ben Rama more,
honestly, man. I was stunned. And do you know what I love about Casemiro is that look he always gives the ref when the ref blows. He's like, hey, what, me? You sure? You sure? No. Love him. Yeah. And I tell you what, he's made such a difference to that team. He has made such a difference.
Yeah, he's been unreal, man. Like, unbelievably good, man. Listen, before we wrap up, what I want to do is this. I want to ask you all quickly, right? Because I've said this from the start before ball's kicked. Right? I'm going to get Pete involved in this because I know you've got to go and I need to wrap up. I think Man United and Newcastle will finish above West Ham. And I've said it before ball was kicked. Lawless won't have it. Lawless ain't having any of it, right? I don't know what Lewis thinks, so I'm going to get his opinion as well before we wrap up. But I think both of them will definitely finish above West Ham. Lawless, I'll let you go first as to why you think that won't happen. And then we'll come in with the other guys before we wrap up.
Come close to the screen again. Come close to the screen.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah.
The season starts now.
The story of the tortoise and the hare. That's all it takes is look, form is temporary. Yeah. Newcastle in a good run of form. Do we expect it to last throughout the whole season? I don't think so. Man United, they're always, on the edge of a razor blade. Yeah. It can implode any second. 1 minute, Ronaldo's, completely out of favor. He's a disgrace. Get him out of the club. Next minute, he's back in. Viva Ronaldo, right?
Right.
West Ham. Look, right now, yeah, I'll admit, in the league, we haven't been good so far. I haven't been convinced of us. But we've brought in a lot of players. Slowly but surely, as these players start to come back from injuries, start to integrate, get better and better, bit by bit. We get these next 2 games done and won. 2 home games, Leicester Palace. We win those games. We got the World Cup. Sit back, chill, get all our players back fresh. We ain't playing in Europe until March. Then we go and we pick up these points. We stack these wins, yeah? And then we'll see what we're looking at. That's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at West Ham 13th in the table on 14 points.
Because you got no vision.
Played a game more. No, I've got perfect vision, mate. It's right here. Played a game more than United. 9 points behind United, but you still think about the marathon. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and also the bit that you say there that form is temporary. Well, I'll tell you something. Class is permanent, mate. And your team this season have not had any class, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
You've been watching Conference League, obviously, Thursday night, mate.
Oh my word! I can't believe he's gone there. Lewis, let me ask you this, man. I want to ask you 2 questions.
I love you.
I want to ask you, Lewis, where you think Chelsea, what they're looking like at the moment in terms of top 4, and then these 3 teams like Man United and Newcastle for me are going to finish above West Ham. What's your thoughts, bro?
On Chelsea, I'm the same as you. I can't predict this club to save my life. We could turn it around at some point and make it back into the top 4, but right now we don't look anything like a top 4 side. Out of the games that are coming up, we could be even further out of the top 4 by the time we even get to the World Cup. And then after the World Cup, we've got City at home, we've got Liverpool away in the first month. So it's not looking easy, but we are definitely capable of making top 4. I can't predict where we'll finish, though. I really can't, because I just can't tell with these lot. First, they play like crap for 3 games, and they go on a 7-game winning streak. Then you get battered 4-1 at Brighton. Anything can happen with these guys. In terms of the other 3, I can't lie. Dan, I respect the confidence. I really do. But I don't see how West Ham finish above the other 2, especially with the Thursday to Sundays and the fact that West Ham will likely be going very far in it. Newcastle have 1 game a week. Their aim will be around top 7. I don't think it would be top 4, but I do think they're capable of that. 100%. They're playing one game a week. They can reinforce in January, and their squad's already playing out of this world. So they definitely can. United, like they've already integrated into Ten Hag's philosophy a lot quicker than I expected. I don't see West Ham finishing above either of them. I can't lie. I really, maybe you could win the Conference League. I definitely think you could do.
And then we've had a better season than both of them if we do. You know what I mean?
You can have that argument. I mean, I see where you're coming from with that, but in terms of the league, I don't think you finish above them. I really don't.
Mate.
Over
trophies. I mean, maybe you could end up with more trophies than them.
I would listen. I'd take a trophy over
Champions League.
You know, a place. Yeah, because what? So we played Champions League one season ago. Yeah, I put that in my pocket. Pete, would you swap the Champions League finish when you did 30 years ago, whatever, for a trophy? Yeah, would you?
Get in, Pete. Get in, Pete.
Look, Pete.
And we don't need to swap it because we'll keep building. And we'll
but would you though? Would you? What would you rather have? Would you rather look back and go, "Oh yeah, we had that when we finished in the Champions League, got knocked out in the round 16 or whatever," or would you rather have a trophy?
It depends on what trophy.
I can't lie. From these two, I kind of get where Dan Lawless is coming from with all of this because you guys haven't won a trophy in a while. And if you guys win the Conference League, you've achieved the same thing that you would have done if you finished top 7 anyway. So, no, in fact, top 5 or top 6.
Top 6.
So you can make the debate. If they end up winning the Conference League, could debatably have had a better season.
Yeah,
see it.
I think that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point.
Pete, what do you think? Who do you think's finishing where, man?
I can see us finishing above West Ham. We could if we continue the way we're going. I think Lewis made a really good point. That Thursday to Sunday is that's always hampered teams, particularly later on in the season, deep into the season. It's always had an effect. And like you said, I said it earlier, Dan. I think you've got the potential to go deep in the competition, and it comes into our favour. So I do think we'll finish above you. That doesn't mean that I think we're going to be guaranteed top 4, far from it. But the way we're going now, the one thing that we've all said as Newcastle fans is that come April or March, April time, if we're in the conversation for any European position, that's progress because we're not talking about relegation. So I do think that we'll finish above you guys this season if we continue to go off the way we are. And look, going back to that question, being honest, you know, I would take. I think all Newcastle fans would take a trophy over finishing in European position because it's been so long since we've had a trophy and we've won one. But equally, I would say that none of us would be expecting to be winning a trophy this season or even being in a position to challenge. We're in a position right now, albeit early on in the season, that we're in the conversation for both.
Fair play, man. Dan United, last say, go on. Who's going to finish where?
No. All jokes aside, I said, in fact, something I did say a few weeks ago, and you all laughed at me. I said Liverpool would not finish in the top 4, and I kind of feel like I'm being proven right here. So many trouble, so many issues there. But United, I think we'll finish top 4, and I think we'll finish top 4 comfortably. Go on.
What about Newcastle and West Ham?
Comfortably, eh?
Can I just say something about Newcastle? Right, I've heard so much bollocks about, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. Fair play to him. And I say fair play to Eddie Howe as well, because Eddie Howe got bantered. Oh, he's 5th choice. Oh, nobody wants him. He's been building from day one of being there. And I tell you something else he's done. Joe Linton was a failed striker, is now awesome in that midfield. I love watching him play. I think
top quality pandering there, Dan. Top quality.
It's not pandering. It's not pandering, mate. It's the
You
truth.
can't argue.
Lawless won't have it.
Last season at your place, Lawless, I was there. He absolutely bullied Declan Rice, and Declan Rice has been hailed as the saviour. He bullied him.
Relax, bullying. I know he's good. He's done good, but Dan's pandering a bit there.
Well, the Brazilian manager was there on Saturday when he scored and bullied the Villa midfield. So there is an outside chance that he makes the World Cup squad.
Paqueta's certified, by the way. He ain't no outside chance. He's one of the first names on the team.
I love this.
No. It'll probably be for potentially for Fred.
Oh,
No,
Dan United.
my top,
Go on,
my
what-
top four.
Newcastle, are they
doesn't
going to finish?
change.
Newcastle going to
Newcastle.
finish ahead of West Ham.
Oh, everyone on this panel's finishing ahead of West Ham. Jesus Christ, what are we even
There we
doing
go.
here?
That's what I needed. That's what I
But
needed to
like
hear.
I said, I take 17th and winning the Conference League. I will take that all day long.
I just
Then
want to
no
bring. I
one
just want to bring this up
can
quick
check.
as well because before we wrap up, because Lawless was trying to banter me about how Atletico Madrid are going to be getting Arsenal in the Europa League. No, they're not. They're losing, and they're now fourth, so they're out completely. So they're not even going to drop down to the Europa League. Atletico Madrid. Leverkusen
Game's
are
not
going
over,
down
bro.
as it stands. Well, they're 2-0 down, man. It's not looking good for them, if I'm honest with you. So there we go. And the way they're playing, I'd fancy Arsenal over them. It's crazy. They have been so bad, and I love Simeone. But there we go, man. It's crazy. Big up everybody. Big up all of you for watching. We had 500 live at one stage. Absolute legends. Smash the like button. Make sure that you go and follow these guys on socials and make sure that you subscribe to their channels. Pete's channel, as he is on first time, is literally in the title, man. Loaded Mag. Just literally click on it. Go smash a sub. They're doing mad things over there, and most of them are in the chat, man. So thank you so much for coming over and supporting your guy. Pete, you're always welcome on this now, mate. As long as Newcastle keep winning and don't start slacking, like Lawless hopes, then you'll be staying on the channel, my guy. And
Ross, you guys
joining us
actually
weekly.
do relegations and promotions.
Yeah,
and
man.
everything.
Yeah, man. He's been promoted. First one. And
That's
Lawless can't
mad.
take it. He's salty about it. He absolutely hates it. Look at his face. He
Because
can't
I thought we
stand
were
it.
joking about it, but
listen,
raw, Dan, you could actually be out of here in a bit. That's mad.
unreal, innit?
Listen, we're in Europe. Like I keep telling people,
That's all
we're
that's
in the
keeping him in here,
Conference
you know.
Yeah, I
you do know,
agree.
you
Yeah,
do
I
know this,
agree.
Lawless,
Oh,
that if
okay.
you weren't in the Conference League, you would not be coming on this show. I
But
hope
what
you know
are we?
that.
So wait, are we not considered in the race for?
What,
We can
for-
finish
No,
seventh.
not at the moment.
No,
You
no.
wouldn't say we're in the race for seventh
No,
at least.
well, you're not even in the top half, bruv. Come on, what's happening here?
All
You're
right,
not
but
even in the top
why is
half yet.
Errol on the show then? Why is Errol on the show?
He's in the top
Then
half,
why?
and it's Liverpool, mate. They've got a history of being in Champions League, winning
history.
it. What have West Ham got?
You
What have
moved the
West Ham got?
goalpost
A
so
Europa
much.
League semi-final for the first time in my lifetime is all you've got to evidence being a part of this show. We're done here, man.
You move the goalposts like to
Look
get
at
the team
Doors
to
in the
win.
chat. See you soon, Lawless. We're a
mate.
Nottingham Forest fan.
And
Oh, it's
how's
brilliant.
Lingard? How is Lingard doing? I want to talk about Jesse Lingard, mate. I want to talk about Jesse Lingard. Eh? How's he doing?
I will say, if you guys get knocked out of Conference League, it's deserved. It is what it is. It is what it
Yeah,
is. Because
man,
you should
it's
be winning
deserved.
that. You should be winning that.
We get knocked out of the Conference League and we're not finishing in Europe top 7. Moyes has to go. Without
And you do
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And you do.
Boys
Stop
will be
going on
done.
about Moyes, Lawless.
Poch will get us back in Europe when he comes, mate. Poch will
dude.
get us
Oh,
back.
he's so
So
Watch
obsessed.
out, West Ham. Imagine.
He is so obsessed with
Imagine.
Pochettino, this guy. It's unbelievable. But he won't say it. He won't just say, I want Moyes out and Pochettino tomorrow. He has to sit there and try and davy it and go,
What do you want me
oh,
to
give
say?
him
I
a
want
bit more
Steve
time.
Cooper. I want Steve Bruce.
Yeah,
No, I want you to
Steve
say
Bruce,
now.
Steve Bruce.
I
Take
want you to
Steve
say,
Bruce.
I'm
I
just
want you
here
to
for the
tell me now
Tottenham
that you
soul.
want Moyes. I want you to tell me now that you want Moyes out and you want Pochettino hired tomorrow.
If that was an option, I would take it. Yes, if that's an option.
Okay, well say it then. You want Moyes out. He can't say it. See, he cannot
I
say
just
this.
said, look, if Pochettino's on the table, I want Moyes to go. If Pochettino's on the table now, I want Moyes to go and Poch to come in. Pochettino's a better manager. I would take that swap deal. If it's not, I'm not just sacking Moyes for the sake of sacking Moyes. That's all I'm saying. I need something better, right?
Okay.
So, boy, I'm not sacking Moyes and getting
Listen,
Sean Dyche.
We're finishing it there, man. We're finishing it
Or
there. We're
Arteta.
finishing it there. Or Arteta. To get that in last. Guys, make sure you smash a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Please get me to 6K, man. I'm so close. Literally, there's still 400 of you watching. If you can smash the sub, it's absolutely free, man, and I'll be there. So much love for the show. Absolutely love this show. Thanks all of you for coming on, and thanks to all of you for listening. We'll see you next time, and up the Arsenal. Take care, guys.